We've been doing a couple of different collections, receptivity and sensitivity and conspiracy versus corruption. And I want to stay with that theme today, but look at it in an aspect of grace and gratitude. What a time we are living in. Hello, Lily. What a time we are living in right now to observe our ability to have grace and gratitude. How gracefully are we accepting the situation that is upon us for whatever reasons it is upon us? And how much gratitude can we find in these circumstances? And I thought, we are a brick and mortar studio. There is everything about this studio is about touch and intimacy and getting involved and being part of. And so taking us out of that atmosphere and bringing us online has really been a creative process, but in a way it's really exposed to me how much, even though we are isolated, we still crave connection. We still look to be in touch with one another. And the internet has really allowed us to do that. So with the process of grace and gratitude, let's look into Ekapada Setubandha Sarvangasana. Ekapada Setubandha Sarvangasana. We're going to use a brick and a belt. And to keep in the theory or the concept of conspiracy and corruption, corruption we defined as an emotional subject, something that looks to seek power over or manipulation. It's seeking to be on top in a position that one may not necessarily be the best to be in. It's too much, it's too powerful, it's too manipulative. Whereas conspiracy is that intellectual ability to divine the reasons why. So in looking at that, in our 5 phases of knowledge in the yogic mindset, we have to be able to first see the picture, objectify the picture, and not be attached to the picture in order to then have it be truth. So whether conspiracy is truth or we want to look at it as being far-fetched or what have you, it's certainly a good explanation as to why things are the way they are. And sadly, corruption could be the answer to that, and it's much worse to look at then because it's far too real. So I would like to put that in place with Ekapada Sarvangasana, Ekapada Setubandha Sarvangasana, with a brick, with a belt. And we're going to do it in a couple of phases so that we can really follow through again with the grace and gratitude that comes with taking ourselves from an emotional perspective into an intellectual perspective. So our first variation is to just come into the pose. The feet are onto the floor, the shoulders are onto the floor. We're going to press through the heels and lift the pelvis up and take our brick and place it beneath the sacrum. So first, we're just going to explore that variation of being here. What's happening within the abdomen? What's happening within the shoulders? What's happening within the heels? What's happening within the legs, within the breath? Where do we ignore, or where do we spend too much time finagling? Where do we get corruptive? And how can we use our power of intellect, bring some grace to the pose, some honesty to the pose? So next we're going to look into the Ekapada. Once we've stabilized that first position, we'll then investigate Ekapada, which is one leg. Eka is one, pada is foot. And bring the leg up. You may need more space or less space with the 2 hands. So in Ekapada, now we've changed the circumstances. The balance is required, the force is required, the intellectual capacity has been augmented, but also now emotionally we have grace come into the picture. How graceful is our pose? How graceful is our prayer? How graceful is our intellect? And if we find, okay, we're doing okay here, then move into that next phase, reaching the leg out. And again, see how balanced we are between that grace, that gratitude, that intellectual prowess, but never undermining the emotional aspects that come with asana. The ability to understand our minds because of what's happening in our body. So we'll come back and let's move into the second side, because there's always another part of the story that you're missing. So now left foot will come in. Make sure your belt is at the length that you need it. You'll probably need it at a longer length than you would if you had your pelvis to the floor, simply because the reach is longer. So now the moment you come in to the other side, again, you have to go through all of that again. You have to use your intelligence to discern what's happening in the pose. Where is the balance lost? Where is the alignment off? Where is the grief? Where is the ego? Where is the pride? And then intellectualize yourself out of that. Let it be graceful. Let it be with gratitude. And when we've come to terms with that, then see about bringing the leg out into a deeper expression of your prayer, into a deeper expression of your desire to be participatory in the world. Positively, not just be here begrudgingly, not just be here with a whole bunch of attitudes about how everybody else is doing everything wrong, but how we participate on the proper levels as a team, because there's no way we're getting out of this without being a team. And then bring the leg back, take the leg down. So now that final aspect of the pose is, okay, how graceful can I be? And how much gratitude can I express, not only through my body to the universe, to the world, to God, to my fellow human beings and the sentinel beings, into the pose of Ekapada Setubandha Sarvangasana. So right leg comes up and I bring the leg out. And I stabilize myself through all the difficulties, through all the resistances that I have to meet. And I see how gracefully, how much gratitude can I have for the situation being difficult. And then again with the second side. Leg comes up, and already, whoa, that second story is clear. Neurologically, biomechanically, the biochemistry is saying something different. How much gratitude can I have for that second side, for that other part of the story? And how much gratitude can it have for me observing that? And then we come back and come down. So I urge you all not to look at your yoga or you know, everybody is practicing something different. In the Iyengar world, we're always taught not to look at our asana as just an asana or a technical something. It is that technical reference for everything else, because everything else is really what we need to learn to manage. And so when we put ourselves into asana that challenge us, all of a sudden, okay, that mind has to work in various patterns. It has to get cracking. Get cracking meaning that an octopus never goes after the same problem twice in the same way. If they can't get it solved the first time, they'll go after it a different way. They'll go after it a different way. They'll go after it a different way until they have success. Zero ego. Just make the problem a solution. And that's what we need to look for in our asana. If there's a problem, how can it become the solution? Because believe me, within every lock is the key. We just have to change our perspective to see what that key is. So, think about your corruption, consider your conspiracies, and let's get our yoga on. Have a great day, and if you want to join us tonight at 6, we're going to be practicing in that Get Crackin' theory. So looking forward to seeing you all, and talk to you soon. Bye.